Let me tell you about the summer. My buddy Marcus turned his own car into a science experiment. Marcus spilled a whole iced coffee across his back seat, big stain, sticky mess. So he did what seemed right, grabbed some soap, a bucket of water, and he scrubbed those seats until they were soaked through, really drenched them, feeling proud, looked great when he was done. Wet, but great. And then about 3 days later, he climbed into his car and got hit with this smell, this thick, musty, wet basement stench that would not go away. He shampooed it again. Smell got worse. He hung those little trees everywhere. Worse. By the end, he was seriously asking his shop what it'd cost to pull the seats out and replace the padding because he thought he'd ruined his car for good. And here's the thing, he almost had, but not for the reason he thought. Marcus didn't have a cleaning problem. He had a drying problem. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know the one step that separates a beautifully clean seat from a moldy, stinking mess, the step almost nobody tells you about. Because here's the truth about detailing your own car. Cleaning your seats and carpets yourself is genuinely easy, and it saves you real money. A detailer will charge you $150 to $300 for an interior deep clean you can do in your driveway in an afternoon with stuff you probably already own. But, and this is the part the feel-good cleaning videos skip, if you do it wrong, if you do the one thing Marcus did, you don't just waste your time, you can grow mold down inside your seats and carpet that smells worse than the mess you started with, and it is a nightmare to get back out. So today, I'm gonna show you the right way to deep clean your seats and carpets. The cheap way, the way that actually works, and the critical step that keeps your car from turning into Marcus's science experiment. And stay with me, because there's a viral cleaning hack going around right now, sitting in a lot of bathroom cabinets that leaves a sticky residue, actually making your seats get dirty faster. I'll show you what to use instead. And before I go one step further, because I want this in front of you early, every money-saving fix like this for your whole car is in one guide I put together called Don't Get Fleeced. It's the playbook for never getting overcharged, whether it's a detailer, a dealer, or a repair shop. One PDF, lives on your phone, costs less than a single detail job, links in the description and the pinned comment. Grab it and let's get into it. Let me start with why the wrong way goes so wrong, because once you understand this, everything I tell you afterward makes sense. Your car seat is not a solid surface. Under that fabric is a thick block of foam padding like a sponge, and your carpet has a foam and padding layer underneath it too. So when you soak that fabric with a bucket of soapy water, that water doesn't just clean the surface and sit there, it soaks straight down deep into that foam like water into a sponge. And here's the problem. That foam is buried inside the seat, packed against the frame with no air and no sunlight getting to it, so it stays wet for days. In a dark, warm, wet, enclosed space is the exact place mold and mildew love to grow. That's the musty smell. That's not dirt, that's mildew blooming down inside the padding where you can't reach it. Marcus didn't dirty his car, he waterlogged it and grew a garden in it. So the golden rule of this entire video, the thing I need you to burn into your memory, is this. The secret to cleaning car upholstery isn't how much water you put in, it's how much you take back out. Cleaning is easy. Extraction and drying is the whole game. Get that one idea and you'll never ruin a seat. All right, let me show you the right way, step by step, and it's genuinely simple. First, before any liquid touches anything, vacuum. Vacuum thoroughly the seats, the carpets, into the cracks and crevices, get every crumb and every bit of loose grit out of there. This matters more than people think, because if you start scrubbing with wet cleaner over loose dirt, you just turn it into mud and grind it deeper. So dry first, vacuum it all out. Now, your cleaner. You do not need some expensive branded miracle bottle. For most jobs, a little bit of car interior cleaner works great, but you can do a huge amount with warm water and just a small amount of mild soap, or a mix of warm water with a bit of white vinegar, which is fantastic on odors. The key word there is small amount. You want a little cleaner and a damp cloth or brush, not a flooded seat. Lightly dampen, don't drench. Here's the technique that actually lifts stains. Spray or dab your cleaner lightly onto the spot, then take a soft bristled brush and gently agitate it. Work it in small circles to loosen the dirt out of the fibers. You'll actually see the grime start to lift up out of the fabric and foam into a little dirty foam on the surface. That's the dirt coming out. And this is the moment that matters most, the Marcus moment. You immediately take a clean, dry microfiber towel and you press down hard and blot that area, pulling all that dirty moisture back up out of the fabric and into the towel. Press, lift, move to a clean part of the towel, press again. You are extracting, you're pulling the dirt and the water back out instead of leaving it to sink in. Keep going, agitate a little, blot a lot until the towel starts coming up clean. That right there is the difference between detailing and disaster. And I'll give you the upgrade because it's worth it if you do this even twice a year. A cheap, wet, dry vacuum, a shop vac, changes your whole life here. After you agitate the cleaner in, you run the wet vac right over the fabric and it sucks the moisture and dirt straight out of the foam. That's literally what the pros' expensive extractor machines do. Just a simpler version. You don't need the fancy machine. A basic shop vac and a microfiber towel will get you 90% of the way to a professional result for a fraction of the cost. Real quick, since we're right at the halfway point and you're getting the good stuff, if this is already saving you a couple $100 on a detail, that guide I mentioned, Don't Get Fleeced, has this kind of thing for every corner of your car. Description and pinned comment. Okay, now let me give you the two things that finish the job right, because cleaning is only half of it. The first is drying. And after everything I've told you, you already know why this is sacred. Once you've cleaned and extracted, you get that car as dry as possible, as fast as possible. Crack all the windows, or better yet, leave the doors open in the sun or a breeze. Run a fan into the car if you can. Even a household box fan aimed into the back seat works wonders and cuts the drying time way down. On a warm, dry day, park it in the sun with the windows down and let that heat and airflow pull the last of the moisture out. What you never do is clean your seats and then close the car up tight and park it in a garage overnight, damp and sealed. That's exactly the trap Marcus fell into. Wet plus sealed plus dark equals mildew. Wet plus airflow plus warmth equals a clean, fresh car. Never skip the dry. The second finishing step is odor, because a truly clean car should smell like nothing, not like a fake pine forest covering something up. If there's a lingering smell after everything's clean and bone dry, the best trick in the world is also the cheapest: baking soda. Sprinkle it over the dry seats and carpet, let it sit for a few hours or even overnight, and it pulls odor right out of the fabric. Then vacuum it up. That's it. It doesn't mask the smell like an air freshener. It actually absorbs it. Real clean, not covered up clean. Now let me get to that hack I warned you about, because it's everywhere and it quietly works against you. Shaving cream. There's advice all over telling people to clean their car upholstery with shaving cream. And I get why it seems to work. It foams up, you wipe it off, the seat looks brighter for a minute. But here's the catch nobody mentions. Shaving cream isn't a rinse clean product. It's got oils, moisturizers, and fragrances in it that are designed to stay on your skin. And when you wipe it off fabric, a residue of that stuff stays behind in the fibers. And that sticky, oily residue does two bad things. It actually grabs and holds dust and dirt, so your seat gets dirty faster than before. And that trapped residue can attract more grime and even leave its own mark over time. You're not cleaning the seat, you're coating it in something sticky that makes the next mess worse. For the same couple of bucks, an actual upholstery or interior cleaner is made to lift dirt and wipe away clean with no residue. Skip the shaving cream. It's a short-term shine that costs you in the long run. And while I'm on things, not to do a couple of quick honest warnings so you don't damage anything. Don't go at your seats with harsh household stuff like bleach or strong degreasers. They can strip the color right out of your upholstery and leave you with a bleach blotch worse than the stain. And be gentle and careful on leather. Leather is a completely different animal from cloth. Don't soak leather, don't scrub it with a stiff brush, and don't hit it with vinegar or harsh cleaners. Leather wants a dedicated leather cleaner and conditioner, a soft cloth, and a light touch, or it'll dry out and crack. Cloth and leather are not the same job. Know which one you've got before you start. Now the honest limits, because I'm never going to promise you a miracle. Everything I've shown you lifts dirt, grime, most spills, and general grungy buildup beautifully, and that's the vast majority of what makes an interior look and smell bad. But some things are deeper than a surface clean. A stain that's been baked into the fabric by the sun for 2 years might lighten a lot but not vanish completely. A cigarette burn or a tear in the fabric is damage, not dirt, and no cleaner fixes that. And here's the big honest one that ties back to Marcus. If a smell has already soaked deep into the foam padding of the seat, if mold is already growing down in there from a previous soaking or from an old leak, then cleaning the surface won't kill it because the problem is buried inside where your towel can't reach. That's the one case where it's genuinely worth having a pro with a deep extractor or even having the seat foam properly dried out because you're fighting something down in the padding. Knowing that difference saves you from scrubbing the same surface 10 times, wondering why the smell won't quit. The smell isn't on the surface. But for the everyday reality, the coffee spills, the muddy shoes, the kid crumbs ground into the carpet, the gray dingy seats that just need a real cleaning, you now know exactly how to make them look and smell like new for almost nothing. Let me pull it all together so it sticks. Vacuum first, always, before any liquid. Use a little cleaner and a damp cloth, not a flood warm water with a bit of mild soap or vinegar does the job. Agitate gently with a soft brush to lift the dirt, then blot hard with a dry microfiber to pull the moisture and grime back out. Extract, don't just soak. A cheap wet dry vac makes that step even better. Then dry it fast and completely with airflow and sun, never sealed up damp. Knock out any leftover odor with baking soda, not a cover-up spray. Keep the shaving cream and the bleach far away, and respect that leather is its own gentle job. Do that, and you just did a $200 detail for the price of a bottle of cleaner. And here's what I really want you to take from this, because it's the thing that saves you every single time. The detailing industry, and there are great, honest detailers out there, don't get me wrong, but the whole reason they can charge you $300 for an interior is that it looks like some kind of specialized magic. It isn't. It's a vacuum, a brush, a little cleaner, a towel, and the one thing most people get wrong, pulling the water back out and drying it right. That's the secret. The moment you understand that, this stops being a service you have to pay for and starts being an afternoon in your driveway with the radio on. And you stop being at anybody's mercy for something you're fully capable of doing yourself better than you'd think. That's the whole point of everything I do here, not to turn you into a detailer or a mechanic, but to pull back the curtain on the simple stuff so nobody ever gets to charge you a fortune for something you could have done yourself in an afternoon. So do me one favor before you go, and it genuinely helps. Hit that like button if this is going to save you from ever paying for an interior detail again. It pushes this out to the next person staring at a coffee stain in their back seat, about to book a $200 appointment they don't need. You could save them the money, and tell me two things down in the comments. First, what's the mess you're dealing with? Coffee, mud, pet hair, a smell you can't kill. Tell me and I'll point you the right way. And second, what do you want next? Should I show you how to get pet hair out of your carpet when a vacuum just won't grab it? Or how to kill a smell that's soaked deep into the car for good? You pick it, I'll build it. And subscribe, because I've got a whole garage full of these coming. The cheap fixes, the honest tricks, and the truth the shops would rather you never learned. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next one.